What is up, obscure mic people? Bark coming at you with a kitchen video. Yes, a kitchen video with the AverMedia Versati Go and the Flexi Go. Because I did a review on this the other day and thought, man, I could easily just keep this somewhere in my dresser drawer and pull it out if I want to do a video in my house instead of out in the studio, which is separated from this. So anyways, I wanted to do a tier list video of budget audio interfaces, $100 and under. I have used almost all of these except for maybe one, but I kind of want to go with like the best bang for your buck. Like, what if you're starting out today and you need an audio interface, what is the best bang for your buck? What should you get if your budget is $100 or less? And then later on, we'll do one with maybe $200 and less. I want to go 50 and less, but that would be too short of a video. There's not that many interfaces that are really $50 worthy. So that being said, let's go to the tier list and start breaking down what audio interfaces at 100 or under are the best buys. But disclaimer, I wanted to use interfaces that are readily available, so none of the like BombG or Xtuga or weird names that you can't pronounce from Amazon, because those get discontinued like crazy. Now, that being said, there is one interface on here that I saw was discontinued on B&H, but I can find it everywhere else, so we're going to include it, and we'll see that in a minute. So basically, mostly name brand interfaces that you can get months and months and maybe years and years from now by suggestion of this video. Let's go. I am but a floating head. Here we go. 16 interfaces, unless I doubled up on some of these pictures, and then I accidentally included a picture of my kid after I threw socks at him, and they wedged in between his head and the couch. We'll just have to ignore him. He's S tier for sure. But let's start out at the bottom. Out of all these interfaces, and you'll see them as I drag and drop them to their respective places. And again, this is going to be bang for the buck. This is going to be not set strictly by price, but what you get for the price. And right off the rip, I think I see one here that is super outdated that I am going to put in D tier right away. And that is going to be the Behringer Euphoria UM2 USB audio interface. It's $35. And $35 is really cheap, but it's 16-bit, which is not a terrible thing. There's going to be other 16-bit interfaces on this list, but it is very outdated in comparison to some of these other interfaces. And for that matter, I believe that it is probably one of the worst buys on this list. Granted, it can get you started if you find one for 10 or 15 bucks, which I have in the past. Actually, Sweetwater a long time ago had them for 10 bucks, and I bought 10 of them at 10 bucks because I could pair those with dynamic handhelds that I was having trouble selling and move those off really easily, with that UM2. $10 interface, $10 mic. After the price went up from 10 back to like 50 at the time, I was able to sell little interface podcast setups with the dynamic and the UM2 for like 50, 60 bucks. So I made a nice bit of change off that. But yeah, D tier, it works well. It's actually more impressive than you would think for 35 bucks, but I think its time has come and gone. That's what she said. Let's take a look at what's next here. One of these images got super jacked up. Two of these images got super jacked up. D tier, I'm going to go with the Zoom AMS22. $79.99. It's super tiny, but it does have kind of a noisy preamp. It's not as easy to connect to a phone as you would think, even though it's small and portable. I didn't include this as a strictly portable interface because it's USB bus powered. So it is a full-fledged interface for the most part, but it's one that I really wasn't that impressed with, even though it was pretty cool. You could throw it in a bag and go. I think just the fact that it's small is not enough. It didn't catch on. The Zoom AMS22 is D tier. Wouldn't recommend either one of these in 2024. We're going to bounce around a little bit just because I'm not going to focus strictly on D tier here. But let's go ahead and check out the Steinberg UR12, I believe, $79. Price just dropped on it on Sweetwater. It's built really well. The headphone amp works really well. Everything's pretty good about it, but it does get a little noisy at the top of its gain range. That being said, I really kind of like the build quality, and the preamps do sound good even though they can get a bit noisy, and the headphone out is good. $76, it's not a bad buy if you want like a rock solid interface for under $100. I don't think it's like the best of the best, but it's B tier Steinberg UR12 portable it says, USB interface, yada yada. Okay, let's continue. Here's a nice entry that's also going to go in B tier for me. Right now it's on sale for $79.99. I got the image all messed up. But it is the PreSonus Revelator IO44. It's a nice compact interface that has built-in DSP. I would probably put this in A tier, but the knob, it's got a single knob to control. It's like press and turn up, and everything's adjusted by a single knob, kind of like the Evo 4 or the Elgato Wave XLR interface. And that is a little tricky, and the screen is so tiny that it's not something I highly recommend, but it's $79.99. It is good enough to throw in that B tier. Not a terrible buy, honestly. Pretty solid buy, really. Here's another one. We got the Audio Box Go. This is going to be the first one I put in C tier. This interface works pretty well. It's all plastic. It is kind of lightweight. It will move around on your desk a little bit. But it is a pretty solid interface all around. I just think $79.99 with some of the other options on here. I think it's a little overpriced, and it is not super fantastic as far as the gain range goes. It does take the volume all the way up to drive an SM7B, and even then it's still not driving it to where you won't need to boost it in post. You will need to boost the SM7B in post, and I do believe it has the stepping issue from 9 to 10, where it goes from, considerably loud to ultra loud. It doesn't really have a nice 9 to 10 range. You can't dial it in perfectly. There's just like a point of like negative 12 dB straight to 0, kind of like that. So C tier, I would rather have the Steinberg. I would rather have the Revelator IO44, but the PreSonus Audio Box Go, I would rather have over these two D tiers down here. And this is all at the price. Some of these will have 2 XLR ports, and that's going to come into play. Let's go ahead and get one thing out of the way now. So we've got this CAD MXU2. If you watch my channel, you'll remember the Teyun Q12, which was like a $29, $25, sometimes $15, $20 little mixer that's really just an audio interface. There's not a whole lot of mixing options here. This thing does the job. And it does the job significantly well. The headphone jack gives you all the audio monitoring you need. The preamps will get it done. Granted, got to turn it all the way up, but there is no stepping issue. But it is kind of a sleeper as far as no one would know you're on a $25 interface. We're going to drop that into A tier, because if you truly want to get started with recording and you need even more than one XLR port, this thing's got 2 combo jacks, and it's got monitor outs, and it's got a 3.5 for cheap condensers too that'll power those. Don't get me wrong, this is not a great or amazing device, but for $25, everything you get out of this little device is pretty impressive. There's a YouTube channel, I can't remember who it was. I'll try to find it and put the link down below. But he did a teardown of this device, and make no mistake about it, it says CAD. It's rebadged. It's like Teyun, Xtuga. There's a few others that have this. It's the same interface though. I put it as the CAD because that's recognizable. You'll probably be able to find it on any given day. But he did a teardown and was pretty impressed with the internals for the fact that it was $25. And I think that shows when you use it. This is a great starter interface if you just want to drop 25 bucks and focus more on the cost of your mics and headphones. Really solid way to get into audio recording. Let's go ahead and do another 2-channel. Let's go ahead and add another to the B tier, and it's going to kind of jump the line a little bit. We've got the Behringer UM204HD. It's a 2 XLR interface, Midas preamps, 79 bucks. One of the best and cheapest ways to get into multiple XLR ports at 79 bucks. Bang for the buck is really good here. It's 24-bit. It's an older device, which is why I put it in B tier. There are things that are better than it, but you will have to pony up a little more money. But the UMC or UM, I can't read it, 204 HD from Behringer, really good device for 79 bucks, especially if you want to do a 2-person podcast or, you know, 1 guitar, 1 microphone kind of thing. 79 bucks will get you there. That's what she said. And for that matter, a little cheaper than that, also in the B tier, is going to be the M-Audio M-Track Duo, 69 bucks. Same amount of combo jacks, XLR, and 1/4 inch as the Behringer. And if they were both 79 bucks, I would go with the Behringer. I'm going to give the M-Audio M-Track Duo just a slight bump over it because you do get to save 10 bucks. But essentially you get all the same features for the most part as the 204 HD. Again, starting out, need 2 XLR ports. Can't go wrong with these. But I probably still would start out on this CAD MX-U2 just until I got the feeling that I was ahead of it and outgrown it, and then I might upgrade to one of these. Let's kick it off with another A tier. I'm going to go ahead of the CAD MX-U2, and we're going to do the Behringer Euphoria UMC22. This is similar to the UM2 in a lot of ways, except it's got a Midas preamp. My CD was skipping. Actually, I just messed up and I just rolled with it. But the Euphoria UMC22, again, a little outdated, but the fact that this is 39 bucks on Sweetwater right now, and it's a fine interface, it's not going to let you down in any way for 39 bucks. It's a fantastic way to get 1 channel up and going, rocking out. UMC22, top of the A tier list right now. Part of the A team. Also in the A tier, we're going to go with the M-Audio Solo, 49 bucks, 1 XLR combo jack, but it does do the job, and it is better than the UM2 for just 15 bucks more. A lot of people start out on this thing. A tier might be a little high right now, but we're probably going to keep it at the back end there because eventually in the next few years, I'd say it will become fairly obsolete, but only as obsolete as the UM2, which still made it on this list, which means it's still a really good buy at 49 bucks. Now, I didn't want to go over 100 bucks here, but I had to point one out. We're just going to put it at the top of D tier as an honorable mention, and that's the Behringer Euphoria UMC 404 HD 4 XLR combo jacks at 109. If you're a musician or if you're doing a 4-person production and you want to get going cheap and not have problems because it's a problem-free interface for the most part, the Euphoria UMC 404 HD, I'm putting it in D tier as an honorable mention. I could not look at it and be like, no, I can't include it. It's $10 more than normal. 4 XLR combo jacks for 109 with Midas preamps, 24-bit. It's still a really good device. And again, it's kind of out of the conversation here, but at the same time, for those people that watch this and like, I need more ports, start here. Start with the UMC 404 HD. Best 110 bucks you'll ever spend if you're starting out and need that many mics or instruments. All right, I'm going to throw another one in A tier, and it's going to jump ahead of the CAD MX U2, but only because it's got 2 XLR combo jacks. Another Euphoria UMC 202 HD. This is the same thing as the 204, except it lacks MIDI ports, which is I don't care about. I don't know how many people do care about it, but the fact that this is $10 cheaper than the 204, most people don't need the MIDI ports. It jumps ahead of its big brother down here. Two Midas preamps, really solid interface. Once again, 69 bucks. That's a great buy if you need 2 combo jacks. What is that, the cheapest on here? Well, tied with the M-Audio, but I believe the Behringer, in my opinion, is better than the M-Audio Duo. Winding down, we've got another one. This one also probably going to throw in here, kind of a rebadge. The CAD CX2 Connect 2. It's going to jump over the Behringer UMC22. 10 more bucks. You get 2 combo jacks. Headphone out is good enough. No stepping issues. It's pretty smooth, which is crazy because I think most of the CAD interfaces are rebadged somethings. So this is probably on AliExpress for like 10 bucks less with some weird name on it. But when I used the CAD CX2, I was blown away by the fact that you could get this for 49 bucks and I had everything that the M-Audio Duo has, everything that the Euphoria line has with the 2 combo jacks, but it was cheaper and honestly, in my opinion, a little better. So the CAD CX Connect 2 audio interface, kind of awesome. I tempted to put it in the superior range if that's what S stands for, but not quite. Top of the A range is where it's going to go. And even though this A tier is getting pretty crowded, we're going to throw its little brother, the CAD CX1, which is 39 bucks, just like the Euphoria UMC22. The UMC22 is all metal. The CX1 is plastic. The performance is very similar. If you need a smaller interface than the UMC22, the CX1 is super tiny, fits in the palm of your hand. It's really nice. But it is the one that I saw on B&H that was discontinued, but I've seen it everywhere else available. It's actually 35 bucks in some places too, so a little cheaper than the UMC22. It will slide around on your desk, however, because it does lack heft, but it is a pretty good little interface. Let's add one to the top of the B tier. That's going to be the Focusrite Scarlett Solo 3rd Gen. Listen, it's a really good interface. Really good. Perfectly fine. But it is 99 bucks. It is only one channel, but I kind of feel like getting started, the stuff in A tier is going to just serve you better, and you're going to spend half or less than half on almost all of these. So as good as the Focus Scarlett Solo 3 is, it's 100 bucks still. That's not expensive. It's still budget range. It's built great. There's literally no massive issues with it to my knowledge. It's very, very good, but we're on a budget here, and that's at the top of our budget line, doing a $100 interface and less video. So not going to throw that one in the A tier or S tier. Really good. If you want to buy it based on brand recognition and the fact that they are really good and do everyone well, go for it. But if you're just starting out, I think saving your money with this top line in A, remember, bang for the buck here, this is the way to go starting out. These could serve you good for years, or they could serve you good permanently. That being said, there is one interface that I think is a little better than the Scarlett Solo 3rd Gen. It's also 99 bucks though, but this is the one that I haven't used. But I have watched a million reviews and looked at them extensively. The Arteria Mini Fuse, 100 bucks. Same deal here. We've got one XLR combo port. It's really good, and I think it might be a little better than the Scarlett, just in my opinion, but they're interchangeable. Where I haven't used it, I'm not going to put it above it, but I will make a conclusion and say I think it might be just enough better for me to stick it ahead of the Scarlett Solo 3rd Gen. Well, that leaves us with 2, folks. And yes, you probably guessed it. The Vocaster 1. $59 right now on sale. Sweetwater and just about everywhere else. This thing has auto gain. It's got a really good preamp. DSP presets. There's software with it. You can set your voice to be radio-y, really clear. There's like 4 or 5 presets that change the tone of your microphone, and they're all really nice. There's mute buttons. There's a jack in it to plug your phone in. I used to record my videos with a phone plugged into this thing, and it worked wonders. The Vocaster 1, if I need a one-channel XLR interface, bang for the buck, God tier here. Focusrite Vocaster 1. I don't know why they didn't catch on. I don't know why they're so cheap. I don't know what happened there, but it's one of my favorite devices audio interface wise, period, as well as the Focusrite Vocaster 2. Same thing here. 2 mute buttons, 2 XLR ports. Not good for music. I don't believe they're combo jacks. These are podcaster devices, so not, if you're looking at wanting to play guitar and do all that stuff through these, not going to be for you. But bang for the buck audio interface for anything voice related, these are the best of the best of the best at $100 or less, in my opinion. And they're constantly on sale for this $59 and $99 price. So real quick, let's go pros and cons. Vocaster 1, to me, no cons. Headphone jack's good, preamp's good, DSP is good, software is good enough. It's an awesome interface that you can also plug your phone into and take audio in and out of. No instruments is the thing here, but is what it is. Musicians, don't grab these. After that, A tier, CAD Connect to $50, 2 combo jacks, no massive issues. It's just a rock solid interface that works really well at a price that's unbeatable, pretty much. Euphoria UMC 22, built like a tank, all metal, $39, can't beat it. Not for that price. CAD CX1, $35. If you just need one mic and go, and you want something portable, you want the cheapest thing on here that is name brand and just good. Couldn't find any flaws in it myself, except for the fact that it slid around on my desk. A tier all day. Euphoria UMC 202 HD, built like a tank, yet again, $69, but you're getting 2 preamps for $35 a piece. Still rock solid after all these years. Great interface. Cheapest, CAD MX-U2. You can't beat the price for everything you get in that. It's not perfect, but you wouldn't know it if it's your first interface. M-Audio Solo, $50 at the end of A tier. Half the price of the Focusrite and the Arturia, and most people wouldn't have a clue why. Mini Fuse and Solo, really good one-channel devices, 1 XLR channel devices. Really the only thing keeping them out of A tier is the price. M-Track Duo, $69, $20 more than the Connect 2, or else it would be up there behind it. No big issues here. I mean, it's good enough for $69, hard to complain. Does have the stepping issue from 9 to 10, so the volume goes a little crazy once you're at the top and then turn at the final bit. Then we got the UMC 204 HD. If you need MIDI chords, this is going to be your choice over the 202 HD. Everything good about the other Euphorias, this is good too. Steinberg UR12, built like a tank, really super clean preamp until you get to the top of the gain range. It's an option if you really want something that's probably going to last on your desk for like 15 years. Steinberg makes quality stuff. It's just lacking a little bit in the preamp department, but $76, hard to complain. Revelator IO44, got its issues, but for $79 you get DSP. You can tailor your sound, save it as a preset. It's really good if you don't mind the small knob and the small screen. Hard to beat at $79 for everything you get in it. It's just a little too quirky for me. C tier all by myself. PreSonus Audio Box Go. It's good. It does everything you want it to do. Everything's pretty much quality about it except for the build. And at $79, that's a bit of a travesty. But it's still good. If you think it's cute and you want it, grab it. It's not going to hurt you. You'll be fine recording with it. No problems. All good. Just doesn't hold a candle to some of these other ones as far as build quality goes. And again, this will slide around on your desk a little bit as well. Honorable mention was the UMC 404 HD. $109 for 4 XLR combo jacks. And it's just as good as every other Euphoria on this list. That's probably the massive steal of the century as far as musicians go, or a 4-person podcast goes. Just grab that. That's S tier if it wasn't $109 and not really a part of this convo. S tier, the fact that it's $109 and you get all that IO, fantastic deal, even though it's probably a decade or more old. Euphoria UM2, it's ahead of the Zoom AMS22, just because it's half the price, less than half the price, and it will still get the job done. If you find one for 15 bucks or 20 bucks, it's worth grabbing as your first interface. It's just probably the weakest out of everything on this list. Last but not least, Zoom AMS22. It just fell. It fell apart. It dudded. It skidded. It skibbitied. It's awful. It'll do the job, but you'll probably notice its deficiencies pretty quick. If you got agreements, if you got disagreements, let me know. But if you're in the market for an audio interface and you only got $100 or less, I think this is a pretty solid list of interfaces that could be an option for you. I would definitely stick with that A tier on up unless you're convinced that you need name brand at the highest level, and the Focusrite and Arturia are going to be good. Good little music setups too, but I think the Euphorias are better. I think the CAD is a better buy at half the price. You could sink more money into your microphone and headphones. Heck, you could get a whole setup for the same cost as the Arturia or the Focusrite by going with something in the A tier. That's why it's in the A tier. And the Vocasters, I just love them. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts. But if I was shopping for an interface, this is the guide I would go off of. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this Avermedia Versati Go sounded good in an untreated kitchen. And hopefully you guys are cool with my ghost hand and my floating head. See you next time.